Welcome. I think with a whole month to plan for this, I'd be a little prepared. I've been setting everything up, even just solo this morning, so it's back to it. Alright, let's see. I'm gonna click some more buttons and we'll be ready to go. That's interesting. That button's doing that. Okay. Welcome, Commoner. Just wanted to play it and mute that. Perfect. Okay. Welcome, Dakota. Glad to see you. I know it's been a hot minute. How's everything sounding? Let me get closer to here. But yeah, I'll tell you how I've been, where I've been. Nowhere really. So it's kind of anticlimactic of what this kind of semi-vacation was. It's more just a break from like just doing these streams than actually doing anything interesting. Let's see. Welcome. Hi, Wesley. Thank you for the hearts. Appreciate it. There we go. I claim. I'm trying my very best. Try and get you guys. Hello. Let's see. We'll get started in just a bit. Wait for my music here to fade out. And we'll have plenty of whole lot of content to work with. Thanks. Oh, stream elements. Don't mind stream elements. They're just to make sure you guys are behaving. There we go. Boop 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 doop. All right. Whew. I'm back. Welcome. Hello again. Yeah. Turn that down a little bit. Yeah, hi. I've been good. I've been feeling fine. I've been doing okay. Yeah, the January live stream skip was just so, the original idea for it to start off with was that I wanted to, you know, 'cause I've been doing this, every single week for the past year. Hi, Cookie. Been doing these weekly streams. Welcome. And just wanted to have a nice reprieve from everything. Make sure that I, don't overwork myself so much. I will tend to that. Oh, that's the pop out. Oh, I did the wrong. Oh, I might have copy pasted the Twitter one wrong as well. Nope, that's working. Okay. Let me get on that. So I can get a share copy Discord. Paste. Yeah, I did the link to the my pop out chat instead of the stream. There we go. Okay. Hopefully that's fixed. Thanks for oh, sorry that didn't really work out too well. Okay. Cool. Welcome, guys. Okay. There we go. Okay. There we go. Okay. Hopefully that's much more better. Like my music's now. So many other things can fail us here. Glad we're all figured this out now. Make sure everything's going okay. Alright. Not like last time where I tried to do the wrong, or my GameCube wasn't working with the stream, wasn't capturing the display, so I had to quickly switch over to the Switch, and then I was messed up. Let's see. Hi, cartoons. I said the welcome. I got Wiggly Arm. Welcome. Yeah, I've been doing okay. Just wanted to break because obviously these streams are very, very technical to set up. I have like 100 things open, and that's not much of an exaggeration. So I just wanted to. My original plan was just to have a nice break, so I didn't have to do this literally every single week for the entire year. Just wanted a nice break, but instead of being a nice break, it became trying to go in go mode for making the game. So wasn't not much of a break. I haven't had a vacation at all. I guess I get like mini vacations, at least to me, where it's like I can spend like maybe an hour or two kind of goofing off at home. But yeah, most of it has been, all of January has just kind of been a grind trying to get the game going. Speaking of which, I don't know how much is updated since last time. Let me make sure these are off. I added a gallery. I will get these to be less placeholdery. But yeah, so I added the gallery. So each time you finish an ending, you'll get an unlock. You'll unlock the picture. So these would all be locked when you start, and then once you finish one route, you do a certain amount of certain choices give you different endings. So it's it'll encourage you to keep playing so you can see every scenario and every interaction of every character, because then you get different versions of all these. So let's just quickly kind of show how much progress I sort of got. I'm just gonna zip through all this. So you haven't seen, if you don't know what this is my visual novel game that I've been working on for the past month or so. So it's actually coming along. I've added smarter little tiny HUD stuff and smaller stuff. It's like I changed this to be rewind. Added this cool little click the button kind of icon. That was fun to set up. So it's a click to continue little icon. So it'll only show up once your text is done. So that was really nice. It was fairly easy to set up, but it felt so gratifying to get that correct without too much troubles. Excuse me. Hello, Pablo. Big fingers and having a HTF video movie. Ah, I'll have to figure out what that means, but okay. Are you the one who, yeah, keeps requesting that? And I think I've commented a couple times saying that to lessen your scope and to not ask other people for these ideas without any kind of evidence on your part that you have any on your part to make sure that you understand and like you thought through the story. I explained it better in my text. For basically just saying that I have an idea and do everything for me, please, animator. It's not gonna get anyone compared to, hi, I have this script bible, I have this storyboard that I made. I can pay you with this amount of rate. I would like to commission you for this project. I hope that, you know, you'd be interested in this. Is a little bit more better. So you would have to be able to show people and like say like, hey, look at this. I've made this so far. I've already thought through all of this stuff. And then you'd be able to snag maybe one person out of, you know, 100 that might be interested and willing. So yeah. And if that doesn't work out with your movie, to then try and limit its scope into, if you're just an artist, you can do a comic. If you're not quite comfortable with drawing, then you can do a story. To just do a text story, and then you would have that at least, you know, out in the world in some way, rather than just hoping that someone out there would be like, oh, I would love to work with this interesting couple of phrases. So yeah, that's what I meant with all that. So, but oh well. So, not interested at this time. So thank you. Let's see. Hi, Summer. Whoa, 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 whoa. Long arm. Let's see. Have you been keeping up with G5 cover deluxe edition? I have not. I haven't caught up with any of the comics, honestly. Let me take rid of the script so you can kind of see something else. I got like the very, very first issues. I got some of those from G4. So way back when. I got a couple of those, but then I was like, oh, look, they finished one act or one arc, one story arc. And I was like, oh, that's fun. Then another one came out. I was like, oh, this is gonna keep going. And I was like, oh, this got expensive of just how many you would have to get to read the story. And it's like, nah, I'm good. So I haven't read any. I haven't finished Tell Your Tale, or I finished Make Your Mark. That's the 3D series. I finished the 3D series, but I haven't finished watching all of the Tell Your Tales. So I'm way behind, but I've kind of been busy with my own universe, my own alternate universe for this story. So hope that's okay. Yeah, not even a very much, just trying to follow a story of just how many volumes are. Let's see if there's anyone else to say hello. Hi, hee hee, wee, hello. Edit the QT marks in the name levels to the normal. Thank you. What's the QT marks to the name levels? Oh, QT marks. Okay, yeah, exactly. I thought that'd be a nice little flavor. I was gonna make it like have the text bubble, the white bubble, also have some sort of design. I guess that'd be. It definitely can, but it's like I don't know if I want to go that far. So just having in color-coded name tags with the QT marks, I think. It's probably hopefully enough. I wasn't reading, but I know what exactly everything is. So I will say yep to get a version of the ending. Let me just kind of skip so I can kind of get through all this. So I've worked way too long on Pip and Zip section, because now they both have a little bit better graphics for their phones. So I designed their phones and drew them out. Got a little tiny, little chibi version of Pip in here. And this one little action has been iterated and like worked on for several hours just to get that to work, because it's in the code is very, very complicated of swapping between different images at certain times, and then yeah, it's like very precise to get that to even work. Because Pip needs to change, Zip needs to change into like the nudging arm, and then translate over to a certain pixel point in an X direction, and then certain time frame, and then Pip needs to also change at a certain time. So, but only after the time frame of when Zip is already at this X position here, and then Zip needs to go back and then swap to this pose, and then Pip needs to. I probably need to fix this because that's not quite what I want, but yeah. Just digging into the code real quick it's probably in here somewhere. Pip nudge. So let's see. It's all of this. I can't zoom in, but yeah. Hide the text box. Hide the last Zip version. Show Zip nudge at S left nudge, which has this is its function that actually is custom, that changes all of that. That'll be in characters. And then pause for a certain amount of time, and then hide Pip's image, and then swap to a different Pip image at a specific position, pause for a certain amount of time, hide Zip's nudging picture, change it back to UG, and then still at a position, and then show the text box again. So just setting that up took a while. So there's a lot of those kind of stuff that kind of crops up here and there, where it's just like, okay, I want something very specific, and like they kind of move around. And so yeah, it gets Yeah. That's why I'm not quite done with this yet. I'm not done with the game. But I'm going through it where I got Izzy and now I got Pip and Zip pretty much done. And then I'm just gonna zip past this. Zippy. But yeah, I got Zip's phone, which I took it from the different designs, but from the 2D and 3D, it is kind of awkward that it's like one of those Samsungs that's like really wide, but like a double up, but it looks like this is a screen, so it's like it has a screen on the front, like a book, like a front cover, but then you open it up and then you got two screens, so yeah. That was tricky to figure out. Yeah, good stuff. So, yeah. And then in each of those, this is why this page is huge. This is just for Pip and Zip's conversation. So this includes every variation in every version of the script. So only really the orangey text is the dialogue, but everything in the middle is telling the game what to do. It's all the code. So most of it is kind of like this, where it's just like you swap between the text box and then change the characters and then show different characters text box, then Sunny. So, but yeah, it's most of the code is, there's like divvied up into sections of like the start, and then part one of the choices, and then you get a choice inside of that choice. So that's where it like expands into like, you got one choice that then becomes two choices, and so you get all of those two choices, then you go back to the first choice that you had, and then that divvies up into two pieces, and then you get part one and part two of those, and so yeah, and then that's just one conversation with those characters, and then multiply that by Izzy, and then Pip and Zip, and then Hitch and Sparky, and then Luna, and then yeah. So, and all the endings, so not quite done. But I'm actually kind of getting some good progress on it, so hey Jed, welcome. Gotta stop making videos. Technically, yeah, for January I wasn't really making any videos. I think I made some really shorts. I also made a YouTube short. I don't know if you guys saw that. Basically just saying like, I'm coming back to being live this week. Please watch. So that was fun. So, yeah. Let's see. Let's continue with the game. How are you? I'm doing okay. Definitely feel refreshed from the last December stream. I don't know if I showed this background or not. Probably should have researched how much stuff I showed. I've only shown the defeat on mobile. Didn't know about it. Oh, it's on the desktop too, but it's like on the left side tab. Yeah, exactly. It's on PC as well, but it's like you have to, I guess, search for it a little bit harder. Oh yeah, this is one of my songs. I updated the sound playlist. So this is my song that I made. Hope to add some more in. And this is from the Derpy movie. So I just chose one that sounds like less of a weirder sounding. Yeah, it is Sparky. Show it on your homepage sometimes. Yes, especially if you just look at a channel on YouTube, then there's like a separate tab now. Like I unlocked the tab because now I made a short. Let's see. It's most of this. I'm still working on Hitch and Sparky, so he'll probably stop animating halfway through here. But let's see. So I think I've done all of the Dream ones. So there's like Dream Part 1, and then a choice, and then Dream Part Sub A and Sub B, I guess, are complete. But I don't think I got much of Sparky's. Well, I got the dialogue and all the text box in. I think most of Sunny, but I don't have Hitch and Sparky's sprites, like how they animate here with their emotions. So, yep. Most of this been... Hitch has been really fun to animate. I really like his... I feel like I can pose him a little bit more dramatically. It's got a very nice characterization. It's like I can be a little bit more dramatic with him. It's fun. Yeah. Yeah. He's going off on how his dreams were last night weren't that weird. I don't know what kind of... It's not real. It's just a joke. I don't even know what kind of real interpretation of it is supposed to be. But it's just like, yeah. And so, this whole section is taking forever to work on here. Because now I gotta have Sparky mixed in, holding that thing, layered in between with his arm is also behind Hitch's and his head is behind, and then have them kind of move around at the same time. So, and then kind of get different poses for these. So, gets even more complicated. That'd be one of those special animations. But it's pretty easy with this one because it's all one sprite. Both characters are on the same image layer. And so it's literally just making like an almost like basic animation. But just only having the keyframes to keep it low amount of files for the video game. So wasn't really going for like super, you know, TV cartoon quality with this. It's more like a hybrid of like, okay, you know, better than, you know, static characters, but more like poppy, where it's like they just kind of pop to each position. So because most of the focus is reading the dialogue, and so you don't want this, you know, hugely like me going like, yeah, I'm talking do the whole time to like keep you distracted of like, look at me, you know. So trying to keep it more simplified. Also, it's easier to animate a little bit. Otherwise, the timeline gets huge for each character. It's already huge. I'll go over that. Guess I can do that. That for the characters. Here's just the Toon Boom file. So this is where I make everything. All the character sprites are in here. But basically, it's just like all these different pieces. And so I can like kind of pose them around and kind of move all these weird widgets and stuff, do things. But yeah, every frame is a different pose. So I'm just kind of scrolling through each pose here, or each frame that contains a pose. And so there'd be a different amount of frames per section. I don't know what to call it. Like each combo sprite, I guess, has about 3 or 4 different images and frames, so that I can, and it also like cycles through them. So there's only like 3 or 4 different pictures, but it's just like going through them all. That little hop was a translation that's not inside of the animation, or inside of Toon Boom. So once we get to those, but here's a lot. And once we get into weird, yeah, here's the different poses here. So yeah, it's really just only just showing the that's where it was. I clicked on a different frame. So it's really just like this frame, beep, 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 and then a couple different further blinks. So have different like poses for them to like get the water can over, and then they kind of stand still, and then they just blink. So I can kind of do this over and over, and then that becomes a separate looping cycle. You get the different. So I think he like, yeah, I think there's like a hop where the whole character goes whoop whoop, but that's coded in. So the actual file as like a single picture moves up and down. So I don't have to also create every single picture of it moving up and down as different poses inside of here as files. I could just do this picture and then it moves up and down with code. And then a couple different pictures so I can get some blinks. So yeah, it definitely gets pretty complicated. Excuse me. Let's see. Ugh. Hi, real fan. Welcome. Good to see you again. And good to see everyone again. It was really great. I'm really happy to see all the regulars. Anyone who's just joining or being quiet, that's alright. Appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in. Let me click on it here for real quick. There we go. So yeah, there's a lot going on, and just this, you know, you take this as a screenshot of just how many different elements are going into here. Just like a background, and then 3 or 4 different pictures in here to like get this cycle. The Sunny's 3 or 4 different pictures here. This text box, which has different versions, and then this little click to continue. That's mostly what I did, and then, or I made from scratch, I suppose. And then these little rewinds and buttons already pre-made in RenPy, and then obviously be able to click to continue was also made in RenPy. So still like a lot of work on my end, but definitely a lot of the groundwork has been already established by RenPy itself. So yeah, there we go. So just doing that little segment, that actually is just as complicated as that pip nudge, probably a little bit more, but it's the same idea where like it changes, it actually switches between 2 different pictures. I don't know how to describe it. There's like 2 different files that when right there's a transfer. So now Sparky is its own file in segments, its own cycle of images, because I wanted it to have a different timing from Hitch and to be independent, so I can be more flexible at this point, because they're going to be able to talk. Yeah, so I wanted to be able to change Hitch's animation, and if I wanted Sparky to do something else, I can separate them. So Sunny's holding on to, it's like POV. So Sunny's holding on to Sparky as he cries, and then Hitch is also talking. He can also stop talking, but Sparky can still cry. So, but earlier they were connected onto the same file, where like when he was on the back, when Sparky was on Hitch's back, they were on the same file. So this is one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite jokes here. Yeah, and then cries louder. So another one of these. A lot of little cutscenes that are really, really fun. So again, it's the same kind of principle with that, where they're all just different segments. I'm happy if we can. Yes, that is a that is a choice. With the dream sub choice A, you can get to that point. And then it swaps over. Probably want to get rid of that dissolve as I look at it, but maybe like add another in between, but pretty still happy with it. Just trying to get from one over to the other. Alright. Yeah, didn't disappear. Alright, I think that's everybody. Quick nap. I'm gonna go into Luna's segment. I'm just gonna skip the roll here because there's not much. Luna's not really complete. I only really have Luna's picture here and then her talking, and then that's kind of it. So once I finish Hitch and Sparky's segment, I have to go back through and add all of the different pictures for Luna. Luna's gonna be fun, as I have her being hand-drawn. I have like the puppet, like how Sunny's here. I have like a whole puppet rig version of her, and I kind of I made a new version of a puppet and then added her hair, and then I drew on top of it with a new picture. So that was like hand-drawn. So kind of gets that in between of, you know, kind of being pretty accurate, but more flexible. And I don't have to be strictly by the lines of the puppet. So executing this format. Thank you. It's gotta I won't say original design, but at least a different art style. I kind of chose between like my favorite aspects design-wise of like, oh, I like Sparky's ear in 3D, of how to do that, or you know, how to do that. Yeah, these endings aren't complete, but at least I can kind of show my idea where I'm going with this. Hitch is really happy. Let's see. Probably have to want to play with the blinks. I started making Izzy holding the smoothie, and so she'll be holding the smoothie throughout the endings. Made custom. I had to make custom text boxes for these characters during the endings, because they would be in a different position. Because I usually like this little dialogue tail thing to kind of match where they are. So obviously Pip wasn't over here, and so Pip was like over here, and so I had to make a new dialogue box just so this little tail would be over here. And Sparky's over there. Sparky would used to be like in the middle or something, so I had to move this tail over. So this whole thing is one object. And then it kind of breaks. Onion smoothie. That's a good one. I have to write that down. Because I wanted like disgusting smoothies, so that'll be that'll be good. I think the the one I got is what was it? I'll have to find out. Let's see, this probably breaks further. I don't know. Somebody just get on for like these dialogue endings go for as long as some of the regular conversations. So you could probably beat one route, and if you read through it, it might take you like 5 to 10 minutes. But if you want to do like the 5 endings, it might take you like maybe like a half hour. Like if you read through it and go like, oh, da, 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 and then try to enjoy it as a casual playthrough, it probably would take maybe like 30 to 40 minutes, I would think. So for the total of the entire experience. So it's definitely a lot of work for, you know, only like, again, like 20 to 30 minutes of gameplay at most. So yeah. Get in there. Yeah, this is what I mean. They just kind of keep going. It's really fun to write all the dialogue. I wanted this to be a black background so you can read the credits. So that's not quite. All these are TBA. We got ending 105. Hey, there we go. So it's actually ordered. Where 1 is the quote best ending, and then 5 is the quote worst ending, or at least different ending. So that's good. I didn't know, but I got ending 1. So I think all these other buttons work, but I didn't really have to program them. Like I didn't develop these loading boxes and all that, all these preferences. I kind of set up which ones I don't want, which was kind of just as hard in some way. In the gallery, I'll work on this. Let's be another segment to work on. It's kind of help stuff. But I want to go through all these because I don't think some of these work. And then quits. But yeah, that's kind of the overall of this. So hopefully I'll get to work on everything else that needs to be taken care of. So what I wanted to do was work on those ending CGs, those little character graphics. So let's go to the endings in Toon Boom. I got little boxes for each of these endings. Let's see, and I got the backgrounds. I just took in Photoshop, I got the backgrounds, so I just exported them into PNGs here. So actually what I need to do is look at the endings and see which one of these I want to tackle. Yeah, so there's like a whole bunch of like logic that needs to be in here. So some fairly simple if-thens, or there's a couple different variables. So it's like if ethic, so there's like choices, and then like, let's go to script. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, so these are all the flags and variables. There's like, you get in choice that says which in choice basically you get is based on what number value it is, and as you talk to each character, each choice gives you a certain amount of in choice, and so by the end there'll be an if then of like, if your ending is, you know, better than 4, that means you get this ending. Better than 2, you get this one, or this one, or this one, as it goes. So, I don't know how super well thought out this is, but at least it makes sense to me and it works. So, there you go. Hi, Kaka. Welcome, welcome. Let's see. So, as you talk to each character, it changes the value from false to true. And then there's like another logic that if all these are true, then go to the next segment. So there's like, every time you do a choice, like if I choose easy dream, then my in choice gets added and that becomes 1, and then based on how many you choose, then you get a different ending. So this is like the way backwards of you're not really supposed to know all this kind of stuff. It's just kind of how I need to have it work. So you don't have to like think about, you know, numbers and values and all this. This is for me to figure out. But when you play the game, you just get to choose whatever strikes your fancy. So I hope that you played a couple times, played it as many times as you want, and try different combinations. Maybe the first time you choose whatever is most relevant to you, and then you could try it again with like the opposite, and then you get a completely different ending. So that's what I hope. But I want to actually go back to the ending and choose one of the ending. Yeah, my little notes here. Okay, so CG's everyone, please really make a gross not. Use the same. Using like a big ball. Let's see. So I'm just gonna quickly look through all these. So reveal a moon in the sky. Moon has Luna's face on the surface. Face winks with a star glimmering in the eye. I was thinking that this might actually be pretty tricky because I would have to camera tilt, but all the characters, the 4 characters, would be on the screen, so I need to have them all move down and then have the background also tilt. So I'd have to have like a larger background. So all of this is hopefully doable because I wrote it, so hopefully I know some method to this. But yeah, I'm thinking that some of these are going to be fairly complicated to work on, so trying to figure out which one of these is going to be easiest. Bright sun. Yeah, so it's basically the same thing. Camera tilts up to reveal a bright sun. The sun flashes into a white screen. Okay. So that'd be like the same kind of scenario. There's the moon one. Show photo of her phone. Let's see if this one was. Okay, let's take a groupie, Pip says. And then narrator says, Pip pulls out her phone and takes a group picture. And then show a photo of her phone. Okay. A photo of her phone. Does that make sense? I think that's more show the photo on her phone. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. I could probably start with this one. This might be fun. Yeah, okay. That'd be cute. It'd be easy. Okay, so let's go back up to see what this was about. Didn't realize I did. Oh yeah, it was the pineapple and potato smoothie. It was yucky. Pineapples. As I try to read through all this. Yeah, okay, so there's not too much. Trying to make sure that when I work on this, I'm not leaving anything out. lore-wise with the story, I guess. So I think we'll be okay. What you're doing to start making, really start getting more ambitious. I think for future games, if I make future games, I would want to make. Well, my ideas for games are what about how and all the extra bits of thinking about further than an idea would be. So I had that idea a year or so ago where it was a marine cat, where it was the cat was a pet to a marine diver, like a scientist, and then something happens to the scientist, and then the cat is adrift at sea, and then there's like adventures in the water. And so I wanted it to be like some point and click Freddy Fish kind of game. So whether or not Renpai can do all that, or do I have to get Unity or some other thing to figure that out, that'd be the next step. And then I also want to make a Derpy movie video game. I actually drew up some sketches of what different scenarios and what kind of mini games they would kind of be. I don't think it'd be too Paper Mario, like exploring like a like a little world and you run around. Derpy movie, yeah, exactly. Paper Derpy's first movie, the video game, will be it. I have to find my sketches. I probably want to show that sometime. Yeah, that'd be later once the movie itself, the film, is complete. Then I'll start thinking of other stuff, of other projects. And I think that Paper Derpy, the first movie, the video game, will be right up there. But I've also thought of thinking ahead that how much I probably am capable of and what I can do at this point. So I made it pretty simplistic. My idea was that each chapter would be its own kind of small mini game, and like each game would progressively get more and more advanced. Like the first one might be like a simple 2D platformer, like really simple, and then as you go it gets into the city, and then it's like the Super Mario RPG, like those chase segments where it's like you're was it like on a water? It was like at a river, and you like gotta roll on a log and then jump to avoid things. Some sort of chase sequence like that. So yeah, it's stuff like that where it's not really like a full-on Paper Mario RPG, but just like these little segments that kind of allude to certain points of games, like one of those direct-to-video game Flash games from way long ago, where it's just like it's not really, you're not playing every single scene or like really exploring it or really having every single scene be represented, but just like, oh, I remember this part from the movie, and then they make a certain segment that's kind of makes you remember about it, kind of a thing. So yeah, let me get some juice and we'll get right into making a groupie picture. Let's see here. Gotta say. Gotta have it not respond. Do. I added about 20 minutes of new music to my playlist, so I think this is one of them. So enjoy. Okay. Maybe I should sketch it out first before I try and drag all my real puppets in. Okay, so this will be ending 4, I think. Ending 4. So we're gonna ending 4, group it. Okay, so I'm inside of here. Got all my buttons are in weird places. There we go. been a hot bit since I've had a microphone in front of my face. Trying to get this going. Let's see. I think it's this one. The street is for pip and zip, and then just regular main time bay is the one I usually use. Copy it, and then hopefully I can just paste it. Boop. Okay. So hopefully you guys will be somewhat familiar with this if you watched Silver Quill's stream yesterday. I watched it, so, and it's interesting to kind of hear what a semi-artist animator, you know, Silver Quill, inspiring animator, trying to understand Toon Boom from Minty Root. It was something. It was like trying to have Minty Root try to. Minty kind of explains how I do, where I just kind of get all kind of. You know what you're talking about, but it's just so. You get so rambly, or you just go too far in depth that. You know, your student in this case would be just too blown away of just getting not understanding. What you're talking about. So. That's why I don't try to over-explain too much anymore with all this. Just because I feel like I've kind of explained it as much as I can. Especially for you regular guys. But the basics is that you get a blue pip. Blue square means this is where you draw. And then green means this is where you can move it. And then composite. It sends all the noodle. The information goes through the noodle. And then it goes through each little pipe, usually downward, and then you can follow each noodle into composite, and then they go out and out into where it'll eventually be printed out into these writes and displays. So just gotta follow the noodles and you'll be fine. But all the information can be interconnected between each other. So if we really wanted to have the transformation property shared and sent to this one, then you can do that and interconnect things over and over and get more and more complicated to rig things. So, how long did that take? And I explained all of Toon Boom's weirdness with the node view. So, yeah. I think Minty Root just like started to like do more, like let's do the kinematic output and you know do some IK stuff before really explaining. Let's make your node view like simplified, is because the Silver Quill puppet was just made in Illustrator, so it wasn't really made to be a full-on Toon Boom puppet or animation puppet per se. It's more just split up by, you know, an eye might be, you know, the whole eye. You know, you might have a whole eye with the pupil and everything, and sclera and everything, and eyelashes. But if you really want to animate that, the only way to select it then, if it's on one layer, will be you just move that. And so if you want to move the eyeball or you know have it look downward, you can't because it's all selected onto one layer. So you have to like split it into different pieces, and then that's how you get each individual piece, and you get more pieces than you expect. It's because you have to do it twice as much for every single, like the pupil will be its own structure, and then connected and interconnected between all these different pieces. So, not really just setting your node structure up first can really wildly determine how much struggle you have if it's not rigged up correctly to begin with, before animating especially. Yeah, so I kind of just listened to it just because it's like, okay, yeah, I can't watch this. It was kind of hard to watch. I was like, okay. So what I want is something like a big, like larger. So it probably just fills up the whole screen. So this will be the big old phone. We'll see if I can finish this today, but at least I could probably just pose it and then be happy with some sort of a sketch, and then go from there. just drawing the phone at an angle, and then we get the different notch, and then some designs. So obviously you'll only be able to see that much, but it's easier just to overshoot and then kind of move it around. I think it is. I probably want to make it. Yeah, because I'm gonna have to draw at this angle. So it should be more flat, and then that means that the background should also kind of be at this angle. What? Let's do this. Let's make it flat, and then I can have a transformation that connects everything up here and then rotate it, and then that might work. So I'm gonna go back to my sketch on my drawing here and make it flat, in which case it'll just be this rectangle that I want. And then I have a transformation if I need to move this around, but then this transformation, which sends whatever I have information in here, gets sent to this one and this one, because that's how that goes through, and then I can rotate both of them at the same time. So it's hard to see, but I can now move the phone and the background at the same time like that. I'm going to swap to a different color. But what if I don't want to see this transformation that I just did? I can then kind of make that a red so that it will not take that information. It like turns it off like a flip. Okay, let me get what this looks like. So I have to speed run through here. So you get to see what the what all the characters look like. So I can have some sort of a reference. Otherwise I have to kind of hope this will work. It's kind of lagging in some places, so I'm not sure what I did to make some of them slower than others. Kind of want the order to be kind of similar, and then I'm just gonna put you off to my side here, and then I'll kind of reference that. Okay, so we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, something like that. And then get their necks. So I'm in solo draw mode. So I'm only affecting this blue bip here. If I turn that effect every sublayer off, I can hopefully just only affect this one. I feel like I want to select every blue, which I think there's a button, but I can never get the select only by color button to work. So those will just work just fine. It's simple enough. I had to I made a little animation today in Flash, so that was kind of fun. I wasn't really too keen on going back to Flash. Haven't used it in a hot minute. Let's see. Let's save in there. I made it so I guess I can show it at some point. But I made this intermission where I just made this little derpy dance. Because I was expecting to do longer streams, so I would at some point need to say that but I'll be right back, you know, kind of a thing. So it's not real right now, but just wanted to show that because I was thinking about it. at this point. So she grooving. Trying to show something like that. So yeah, if I do like the gaming streams or, you know, longer streams for whatever reason, I will be able to use that as a transition. Just gonna get some very basics kind of poses here. It's not really looking to get anything too exact, but just like enough to be like, I understand what I meant by drawing this. Like an arm. It's easier to just draw, you know, draw something out and then get a pose to kind of match what I got here, rather than getting the puppets and then try to figure out and feel out the pose, because then you're just going to be way too off. Or just start experimenting and it's like, oh, that didn't work. So then you would spend way too much time trying to undo your pose rather than having a pose in mind and then doing it. You know, once over kind of thing. Let's see. Hi, Cypher. Good to see you. I'll say hi. Well, there you go. Thank you for joining. So it's good to see. I believe, at least at one point you were a patron. I'm not sure right now on your status, but I have to check on that. So thank you either way. I appreciate it. This is Izzy. Just gonna make these. Super happy or something. Looks a little weird. Yeah. And then she'll have her smoothie. Try to go over it so I can get all these overlaps to make sense. Again, I'm just trying to rough it out more than anything at this point. This is Sunny, which I forget if she's an alicorn or whatever at this point. You know, it took 3 years for Twilight to be an alicorn now. Sunny gets it within like 50 minutes. There you go. And then try to make anything too exact. But it's just like I understand what this means. This is Pip with her wings. We'll get a kind of side angle. Maybe something like a duck face, maybe. Yeah. This is where you start to experiment and be like, okay, here's what I want. Here, little Greek thing there. Okay. This is zip. Maybe just kind of almost crack a smile, but just like almost kind of worried with my shaky hand there. And then maybe like a I don't know. Trying to make it like not interested, but just kind of like almost like a half worried sort of like a Like I'm okay with this, but not fully. You know, it's like I'm okay with this. It's like, okay, like I'm trying to play it cool, but it's like it's not really what I want to do. Kind of a thing. Let's swap her. Does that make any sense? That's where I kind of play with it. And it's like, maybe she could just be straight up. Some sort of body. Does she have any? She doesn't have any side ponytail. Oh yeah, she's got a little bit of tease. Something like this. What a family. Alright. Clean that up a little bit. There you go. Okay. And the fun part is that we can then use that peg and then transform it. And then kind of move this around. Try and get everyone in the picture. At a certain angle. And then have the phone as a background there. What I can do is turn this off and then make the background as big as the screen. So then we do a screen overlay basically. We'll do it better. Thank you. Yasin, thank you. Appreciate it. I don't know if you're in chat or not. Thank you. Let's see. I have been getting some random subscribers from my YouTube short that I did. The one that said like, "Hey, guess what, guys? I'm back to streaming." And I kind of showed some weird, you know, some random pictures that I had of older streams. Like I said, like I looked at the analytics a lot because I was curious of what how it would go. I expected to get like 10 views because that's usually what I get on, you know, other sites. But getting like 400 or plus views like in less than 24 hours is really a lot. So thank you. Yeah, definitely didn't expect that because that's usually like my pretty bad feeling regular videos as on the low end. So yeah. Didn't know I thought it'd be hard to, you know, get at least, you know, 50 or more. That's like seeing like 400 is like, oh, okay, I guess I did something okay. I have no idea if many people watch shorts. Apparently several. I mean, if you look at the shorts and I you know, look to see like what the barometer, I guess, of other people's stuff were, and you get like 10,000 or so of views and likes, but that's a lot of dislikes. And it's like, oh, I mean, I thought we try to get rid of dislikes on regular videos, but they're okay on shorts. And you can see them. That's also the thing. So you see these like short videos that have like, you know, 250,000 views and then like 5,000 or 20,000 downloads or dislikes. And it's like, jeez. I would think some sort of, you know, filter would say like, oh, you know, if more than like a couple hundred dislikes, maybe we should stop supporting it. That kind of video. You know, if it gets like 10,000 dislikes, even if it got like 10 million views, it's like, that's still a lot. You know, regardless, I was like, okay. Like, with the percentage, then that's kind of not as great as just like a general number of it being like a lot. At least that's what I would think, that to have it just be, you know, a certain threshold of like, if it's got like, you know, trying to think of a low number. What would be the lowest amount that I'd be like, okay, maybe we shouldn't show it to people? So I was trying to go like maybe like 5,000 or 1,000 or something. Maybe like 1,000 is probably probably like the limit of just like maybe, you know, 1,000 people said like maybe this video isn't that great. Maybe we should support it less often or something. But here we are. Anyway. Oh, stop hiding. I need to see you. There you go. Because frankly, my shorts video got like at least 4 dislikes. And it's like, oh, you can't just gone past the video and be like, I didn't really like it, you know, scroll past. It's like, oh, someone took the time to be like, I don't like this, and I'm gonna click on the download button. It's like, oh, okay. And the fun part is that they haven't done my idea of doing like some sort of short survey whenever you click dislike. So you can be like, why'd you click the dislike? Because that's, you know, to the creator is much more important to be like, oh, I don't like it because, you know, because they do the content rating, you know, of like, oh, I don't like this because it's spam, misinformation, deflammatory, you know, those kind of stuff. To be like, oh, I want it. You have to do a survey to flag, you know, a video to be like, oh, I don't like it because it goes against religion or, you know, something. And but you can freely dislike and then, you know, be a bully and be like, ha, I'm not gonna, you know, give you comments for any kind of constructive criticism or criticisms at all, you know. It's like, whoop, just like empty, like, yeah, I dislike it and then see ya. And then that can affect your channel and you know, lets people look at your stuff. And it's like, wait a minute, just what? I don't know how to improve to make better videos now. Thanks, you know, what? So it's like, wow. Because it's kind of like, you know, a little soul crushing a bit. That's like, you know, it's like I did work on this, and if you don't like it, that's okay. But to be like, just gotta quietly just gotta click over here and be like, okay, you know, get better videos or something. It's like, okay. Yeah, you know, I should have thought about that when I made my video. Should have made it better. You know, I didn't consider that yeah, video I made should have been much better than what I made. So anyway, yeah, it'll blow over. I'll be okay. But it's just like, man, jeez. Oh well. I think it's a new song. It's pretty. Let's see. Do. Have to feel pretty swaggy. That's something before I need to dislike. I mean, I barely honestly like things. I guess I just kind of. I guess I am more of a lurker, where it's just like I'm just gonna watch a video, and then, you know, kind of leave. I don't comment or like or dislike. I just thought about that because I'm halfway horse famous, which is really not great to say, I guess, anymore. So I guess that would be kind of, where am I? Kind of a bit much. Let's see. And am I being called out for something like that? I want to copy frame. Put it way over here. Grab it. Put it over there. Get some people just for that willy-nilly. I mean, I guess that's how it is then, I guess. Yeah. Which I don't understand. Again, I would make it more like the flagging system of like, I dislike this because, and then you can have like a little spreadsheet or something that YouTube can give you, and be like, you know, over the past month, we've found out that 20% of people dislike your videos because of your, you know, could be even pretty specific, like your audio levels or something. And then the creator would be like, oh, okay, I should invest my time into figuring this problem out, you know? Because what do you do now, you know? What's the best solution to what your problem is now? Is to kind of go, oops, someone disliked it, gee. You know, that's kind of the end of it. So that's why I'm kind of like, okay, can I have then diffusing. It's just annoying, just like to me. And it's like, okay, I guess I'm just supposed to live with that, you know. So anyway, they're fusing. It's okay. Sometimes I had like the colors, the palettes. Each character I set up to have a different palette, but sometimes the Toon Boom would kind of get mixed up, and so you would have like a purple zip or red pip or something. So it kind of got all kind of wacky. So I had to make new colors and assign them to each character. So, oh boy. Let's see. I want to find out where these guys are. This gets a little complicated because I had to have more transformation boxes to get the information to kind of move them off from one side into the center of the screen, or kind of move both of them at the same time. So I have to figure out which one of these I actually want to move and copy. Let's see here. So I think I want, technically I only need the group, which would be the white box. This group would contain everything. This peg is just for moving the whole character, which I guess is still good, but probably have to do these individually. So I don't think I can select these and then, yeah, because they're still kind of, oh, here we go. So I think I can select these two and, nope. That I can control click on some of these, nope. Okay, I'll have to do both of these individually then. Which is a big problem with these judges. I can't even do both. If I do this one, no. I mean, I can just do all these and then or like delete the keyframes, but that's still, yeah. Might as well just go for the full time. Let's just get everything here. Just trying to figure out how many of these frames I need. Move that way over. And again, the problem is I don't need. Whoa. Problem is I don't need that much information. So now I gotta go back here and say I don't want Pip's center. Don't need that keyframe. Don't need zip. That's Izzy. Yeah, it should just be these guys here. It should just be those guys. Perfect. Okay. I will unmeld them now. So zip can be here, and Pip can be over here. And we got Izzy over here. Okay. Welcome. Hello. Unicorn balloon. Welcome. We know Hitch and Sparky. Let's see. These guys get complicated. This OG controller is for, what is it for? Oh, it's for there's a 2-point controller, 2-point constraint, which, because it's a darker node, that means it has different properties than everything else. So this one has a very specific what it can do, qualities. So it can affect these sorts of attributes and affect the pegs and drawings in a certain way. So this one tells, based on these two pegs up here, how to behave. So I can click on this one. This peg is connected to the 2-point constraint, which is connecting to both of these characters. And then it says, based on the rotation point, do a squish from the opposite side, which has the rotation point at the bottom. And so when you take it from here, you can squeeze these characters while locking it from the position of the bottom rotation point. Or maybe vice versa, but usually this doesn't work. It just kind of moves them up. Yeah. Or I think it's just, yeah, okay. It's kind of a problem with trying to put everything like I have the cutscene and a couple other backgrounds and a whole bunch more stuff. I got a big camera, movements for every frame, and each character is, believe it or not, very, very complicated. So, yeah. So again, I think I just need these guys, these bottom guys here. So, HP. I forgot even what this is. SAS is squash and stretch. I guess HS might have been hitch and sparky, so I'm not sure how HP I got. That's that connects to there because it's separated, and then 2-point constraint, and then here's hitch and sparky, and then here's their groups. So these little orange boxes are like a cardboard box, and you open it, and then you get what's inside. So all I need would be these frames. Yes. Okay. The problem is that hitch and sparky go on for a long time. So gotta like jump over this whole little section. I think they move because of some other factors that I might be unaware of. Okay. But either way, I can probably just go ahead and move them to where I want them to be, and then we'll be good to go. Okay. Don't need Luna. I think the next one is actually Sunny, which ironically Sunny might be the most complex because I might need a separate version or make the cutter. Yeah, okay. So let's turn composite. That gets all the information from there in, and then gets Sunny's information, which of course we're at the end. Go back to the beginning. Once I get all these characters in, I'll be able to do each ending a little bit easier, because then I'll be able to just make like frame 2 and have ending image 2 there, all ready to go. Welcome, Judd. Welcome back. Oh, this is my original little bubble for Sunny, where Sunny would be existed inside of this bubble, but I changed it to remove the little arrow down here. So now it's just a bubble. There's Sunny. But I believe that Sunny still exists if we moved it. Yeah, okay, yeah. She's over here for now. Her head's a little misaligned, but it'll work. I can probably work with that. Hopefully. I think I just need her head, honestly. So it'll still work. I can take her head once I get in here. Once I start digging in Sunny's head, I can get that going. Probably just do that right now if I really want to. Yeah. Okay. And then I see her leg is gone, which I believe would be this leg. And then select all these bips. And then see that, yeah, we don't have any frames in here. So the leg would exist here for some reason. There it is. And then back here it's not. So I think if I insert, no. Let's see. You sound new. Welcome. Welcome, Whale Octopus. Oh, that's great. When you slap in your neck weird. Exactly. I think I've done that. It's yeah. Sometimes I sleep with my pillow kind of like pushed up on the wall. It's yeah. No, I'm just not even sleeping with a pillow at that point. Leg. There we go. Fix. And it's okay that she's looking this way because all of my frames are for all of her different transformations and every single frame and position. I think she kind of breaks, but these are okay. So this is what she looks like outside of her masking bubble. And the bubble is actually kind of fun because it only goes around, like, it cuts at the bottom of her neck, but then it has room around her ears. So that when I go to my cutter, it actually, don't exactly know where my cutter is. It's not in here, is it? That's my shadow. It's not this one, is it? Oh, it is. Okay, it's all part of the same thing. I thought there was a separate object. That'd be a cutter. There's actually a red piece here. That's the cutter. So if I add like another pointer, like move this down, it would only show that much of her. It's showing the red space is where she can exist. And so I add enough headroom above above here so you can actually have her ears. Because otherwise if it goes around her, you know, a circle here, it would cut off her ears, you know, like this. So it's not the effect that I wanted. So it's like she's kind of bursting out of it. And then you get all the different other pieces of that same circle. So you get this. But of course if you turn that off, then you get all this in her legs. It's not showing, but that's okay. You kind of go through every single emotion. Try to include a whole bunch, and then I made so many that I was able to kind of reuse some of these in different scenarios. So hopefully you don't notice that Sunny kind of makes the same facial expression a couple times throughout the game. But it's just that I made so many that's like, well, they're going to be multi-useful, you know? There's only really so many ways to make some of these anyway. So either way. Okay. Let's do Sunny again. So all I need will be these bips for my master plane here. Beep. So that'll be these two. And then we might have to play with the cutter to make that work. Which would be, yeah, when we get to there. For now, I just need to get Sunny over to here. When I was making my my YouTube short, it was a little tricky because I haven't used Premiere in a while. Why is Sunny over here? Oh, cover it up just in case. I haven't used Premiere, so trying to move all my videos over. Trying to like cut up my. I had like 8 hours worth of streams in my Premiere file. It was not slow, but it's just like a little tricky to find, you know, like 2 seconds worth of footage I can use. It was kind of fun. Yeah, I'm not really. That's my first like short form thing I've ever really done. So hopefully it's there's Sunny. Hopefully it was sufficient-ish okay. Yeah. I think I just want to make a. Let me just make a new one, and then it's either the color or the color art. So there's like a sub attribute to this drawing. So the drawing is being split into 3 different ways here. And so I want to split up the drawing into its sub layers, which are overlaid layer, line art, color art, and underlay art. And so what I want is to use the color art, and then go into drawing, and then in here I can now make a ridiculously big square and hopefully fill it in. So now I got this shape that now fills the area that I want Sunny to exist in. It's like a window. There we go. Okay. I expected as much cookie. That I wouldn't be doing numbers. I guess I am doing numbers, but I guess, you know, a certain amount of other numbers. Let's see how we're doing. It's pretty consistent right now. I'm happy with that. Pretty high. pretty hard for me, I guess. So thank you. We'll get this going here. Okay. So now I got all of these pieces together. I'm gonna go back to my ending here. I can find my sketch, hopefully. Maybe. Where'd it go? Oh, there you are. 110 for some reason. Why? Oh, I think I can just delete it there, go to frame 400 that I want it to be, and then expose it here. Yep, okay. But having to move it over, because it's just a drawing, I can just do that instead. So when I had to move the entire group over, I don't think, if I just exposed it, that would just be the, like this Excel, what is this? X sheet or dope sheet, where I would only be able to move individual drawings. If I try to select everything here, this is only selecting the drawing, so I wouldn't be able to also move the entire group, which would have the pegs and the weird sub attribute ones and like the over ones and all the crazy other widgets and stuff. So this is only the drawing, so if I try to select all of these, then I would be kind of, it'd be not as ordeal. Ideal. But don't need it. I didn't rename. Close. There we go. Okie dokie. So, hi Sunny. So now I can go to here, turn on. So I want to turn Izzy, these two. Again, yeah, with the decent views, it's like I'm pretty happy with that, no matter how I slice that. Is that it? Who are these guys? I don't even. I got Luna. All these blurs and stuff. Feels like I'm missing someone because I might be. It's possible that you guys aren't connected. And in here, I think I want to in here select these guys and then move them back in 3D space. There they are. Move it just enough. Okay. So what I did was I actually move it in 3D space. So, yeah. If I start moving them forward and... I think I can move them forward and backward in that mode though. It's weird. Okay. Let's turn rotate off. I mean... name everything so you know what you're dealing with here. Well, hopefully the stream, the short was to remind you that there was a stream today. So I know not to just expect everyone to be like, oh yes, I remember in late December that Yoshi said that there will be a stream in January 4th at 12 p.m. It's like, you're not gonna by now remember that. So I went ahead and tried to advertise it as best I could. Let's see. There's a bit much happening here. So at least try and simplify what we got here. I have to go back to each individual character and kind of work on them. Probably have to work on them individually no matter what, but at least I can try to get them in the general positions that I would like them to be in. There you are. So Izzy here, Pip. They're all about the same size. Pip. A little short. Good. Hitch. There was like a height chart recently. I guess like a couple weeks ago. Or I guess we had the models for a long time of all the characters. And we're just gonna go around with that. Looks like Sparky brought a friend. It brought a leg. So I don't need this at this point. This leg was for when I was in Twilight, when Sunny wanted to take care of Sparky. Let's see. I think Sparky's rotated a little. There we go. Okay. Put you there. Sunny. Usually you only, you know, want to deal with each character on your own, or try and figure this out. Not a big fan of his hair. Wants to kind of break as you go. So either, I think somebody's other characters also break as well if I try and do that, but I can try and find at least a frame that sort of works, which actually is way back here. So there's some magic hair physics that are sort of going on. And so I will have to kind of hope that the characters around here that will kind of overlap on top of her can be okay. Yeah, you'll be okay. And then I want you. You can be behind, I think. Something like that. Let me get back to my sketch here and kind of move them back even further behind. Because now I know that I need more depth. Izzy. Izzy can be behind everyone, maybe? No, she needs to hold her smoothie, though. But Pip needs to hold the phone, so she needs to be kind of close. Also, she is a giant, so maybe we can make her a little smaller. So it was good that we kind of worked through each, having each of them visible at the same time. Sparky is going to be fun to figure out how to layer these guys together. I know I made these puppets by hand, so I know where everything is, so that's why I'm like just kind of booping over the side. But if you got a downloaded the puppet or something, you'll have to spend some time trying to figure out how this mess is set up. At least it makes sense to me. You know, that's one important part, is make sure that they're at least in a sensible, all these nodes and pieces are all in a place that you understand. So, yeah. Okay. Gang's all here. Got the sketch. I guess we just gotta go through each one now and start posing them. So, who should we start with first? Let's see. That's a good question. Let me get some juice. There's a mold of silver, which be easy here. We'll start with. Let's start with easy. So, in theory, I could just take these guys out so that they don't render. But then I have to put them back in. Yeah, that'll be okay. As long as I do them back in order, should just be left to right anyway. And then the Sunny is next. Okay. Okay, so first things first with these is to make sure that we are on the same rotation. So I set this up so I can have just a little couple gizmos. So obviously if you made these yourself or downloaded them, you have to make sure that you you know what you're doing here. And then it's just a matter of now kind of going through each individual piece now, kind of moving them. Okay, so, whew, yeah, the base puppet to make all of this work took forever. Like I keep finding new ways to like improve on it as I go, so this was not like a, oh, I just need to, you know, put a couple, you know, like screw this in and, you know, kind of bolt this in as like a rigging kind of metaphor. It's like, oh, I need to really learn about how I want to do things. But everything, I believe just about 90% of all the pieces, individual pieces, have deformers, which means that I can really fine-tune everything. So the green outline means that I can kind of morph the artwork in some fashion. Thank you, Dakota. So I will use what I got here to kind of pick out pieces I want to change and then kind of pose it from here. So let me render it to see. Good. Okay. It's a weird thing with the OpenGL view, or at least the fast way that the fast, you know, moving, working view, is that you get this. I don't know if you probably can't see it on the stream, but there's a tiny white outline here. Okay, I can move this over a little bit. You can definitely see some little tiny artifacts here and there. Once we get to Sparky, Sparky's pieces have a lot of that kind of weird outline or like holes and issues and stuff. But once you click like render, then it usually tries to spoon it out, which means that it'll try to remove all this kind of aliasing weirdness. So yeah, but everything should have a deformer, so I can kind of go through each of these individual pieces and morph them how I want. Want to move that lower teeth, boop. Move that tongue, boop. There we go. Move that eyebrow. I think I made some extra handles to make this a little bit easier. All these like green dots all over the place, like these big green ones, are connected to a OGL controller, which is a big way to say be able to select a higher thing in a hierarchy. I want to usually when you like click on something, it like clicks on the lowest bottom of the, like it reaches into the bottom of a Pringles can. And it's like, oh, you wanted like the least significant bottom chip, and it's like, okay, cool. I really wanted to, you know, go up to like get the top one, please. So you have to like click a button to go up and up the hierarchy, and then boop boop, and so you eventually get up to it. But I pressed like hotkey like 3 or 4 times to get from here to here. There's a lot in between here to whatever reason. So I just wanted a way to have the controller talk to a higher part of the hierarchy to be able to talk to the top chip, like the top Pringle. And then it's like, okay, you can just select on this bip, which then directly is in between, to just directly talk to this one. And so that means I can directly talk to the piece I want. So makes it real easy to then, whoop, wrong button. As I say, it's real easy, whoops, to modify things like that. So there's tiny little dots in here that made it about the same color as the people, but that's also a handle I renamed some of the big handles, but they're all OGL controllers, which no one wants to call it that. So, yay! And that should render good. Okay. And I believe I have a smoothie here. So, this is why I label everything confidently. And I have a couple different, I have 2 pictures. So I can either flip this whole picture or not, but I think that'll be okay. So I can flip. So what I want is maybe to get rid of some of these leg pieces. I want to have this kind of hold it. And then kind of remove the drawing art for it. That doesn't quite make sense of how it's kind of going through her hair. You can kind of believe it that she's kind of using her arms to kind of go around it. Instead, I can kind of use a deformer to kind of move this over just a snag and try to realign it like that. So something like that. Just so it's a little better. I believe each of these have their own deformers, so I can kind of... So they get really nitty-gritty with all these individual pieces that I got. And try and make that work, so... Something like that. I think that'll be good for now. Call that good. And then kind of move that over. And I can use more swatch and stretch. I have like all these other smaller buttons that can kind of help me pick a better or a different point of it. But yeah, all these are handles or OGL controllers that they just talk to a higher hierarchy, so I can just do that. Which this was also connected to a 2-point constraint. 2-point constraint does the same thing as the squash and stretch to be able to squish her. So that's what I did, was I was able to take the entire body and go whoop, you know, kind of stretch her out. Okay, happy with that. Okay. Zip will be fun. So I like to move them off to the side from where the storyboard is, so I can directly look at it rather than, because if I overlap everything on top of my storyboard, then I can't see it. So this makes more sense to move it over and then get the pose that I want, and then kind of move her back to where she should be with the pose. So I don't know what's the best way to go about this. I've seen obviously the whole bunch of different techniques. One of them has like the storyboard in the corner, but I feel like with that way, you're just kind of using it usually literally as like a thumbnail, and you're just kind of hoping that you kind of get the same positions, or you know, get the poses as you want. Usually what I do is, I don't know, because I usually do both, you know, the storyboards and the final rigging and posing in animation, so it's not really much of an issue for me to make sure that, you know, following the storyboards is more just a my own. If I kind of mess it up, then it's just on my own volition, I guess, or just kind of choose what choose just what kind of pose I want. So this is not 3D. This is pseudo 3D, where it's having a billion different pieces, and then Toon Boom is doing some magic where it's interpolating between these different poses, but I only set these poses that I'm snapping to, and so Toon Boom is able to take pose A, pose B, and then figure out what that'll look like at certain poses. So it's half magic. Siren. Where are we? Let's go back up. Okay. So Zip has wings. Probably just want to get over it a little bit. That's the 2-point constraint, which is kind of fun. I think it only works on some of these. Oh yeah, I could do this. Forgot I could do that. That's kind of good. And if that doesn't work, then I can use a deformer. And hopefully that, with some other pieces that are probably trying to take it in a different angle, destroys that. Alright. I think what I want is... I know... Because when I watched Minty collabing with Silver Quill's stream that I watched yesterday, I saw that he had a bunch of pieces that were connected with a 2-point constraint. It was almost like a 3D model style of rigging with the Toon puppets, which is impressive, but I feel like some of that is almost too interconnected. It's more just like using an action figure at that point, where if you move like the neck down, then the head will move, or if you start like moving the whole body and move it down, then the legs will also react. I feel like that's okay for certain things to get those slight movements, but I feel like I would rather try and make sure that, because you sometimes get to a point where it's like, oh, that moved because I moved that one, and then because everything has to be with Toon Boom, everything has to be rigged a certain way, and then that's what you get for the rest of the animation. I've kind of complained a couple times that sometimes I might want to, halfway through an animation, swap the parenting of the green boxes so that the transformations can then affect a different piece at a certain time, but not during a certain other time. So it's like if you try to juggle, like a juggling animation, and you want like the hands, you would want, when the ball hits the left hand, you would want to have, when you move the hand, then the ball would also move in time when you move it down. Like when you're getting ready to throw, it's like the anticipation of throwing, so it's like you move your hand down. You would want to be able to move the hand and ball at the same time. But then when you let go, then the ball becomes its own animation, and own animation, you know, not connected to the hand, but then it lands to the right hand, and then you want to connect it back into the right hand. So it's like, how do you do that with this strict amount of rigging? You know, you can't be like halfway through and be like, oh, I want this one to be over here, and then whoops, now I want it over here. You're stuck. Otherwise, you know, you would get the animation broken. You know, it'd be like as if this is the entire animation is now rigged like this. You know, obviously that breaks a whole bunch of stuff. So yeah, you kinda can't. So yeah, a little nitpick, but obviously because this is amazing, but it's weirdly got limits. You know, it's all math and everything, but it's like, oh, it's just kind of doing its job. But wanted to do a little bit more, please. So oh well. Alright, sweet. I think that music ended. Let's restart it. There we go. Okay, so I will like this. This facial expression. I'm gonna move her a little bit closer so I can have both of them in view at the same time. So what I can do is now do some. I can see if I have a mouth that might work. I do like this kind of sliding, but I might want like an in-between later on or something. I think what's going to really push this is going to be the eyebrows. So what I can do is kind of choose a drawing substitution, a different one. That's confident. That's sad. So what we can do is kind of maybe do a mix of both of these. So you can kind of get like something, maybe like a mad at a certain angle, and then something like that. You move all the dots and you get this. I think I want to make... I've always hated her closed eyes, but I guess it'll work for this. Makes it look cooler. And then... How do I got it? I got it looking at the camera. Can't see my buttons. Wait, that is my button. Okay. It's just huge. I also have a little bubble here. Or a little shape here. I always do that one twice. This is a nice little cutter I can use to cut a certain amount of the neck, because otherwise you get a full outline with the bottom of the skull. So I add this, and at certain angles, certain positions, you can get it to look like it just kind of stops there. So all these little like secrets that's like, well, it would be nice if maybe the neck cut it at a certain angle, but then at certain angles you would also want it to kind of not move, or sometimes you want it to move, so like maybe you want it to have this effect, or you know, you can have more flexibility by adding more stuff, basically. So kind of like that. Let's move that over. I think I want to move the... That's why I have all these bubbles, but I think sometimes forget which one's which. Something like that. Do it like this. I'm wondering if I can get this with another shape. Ugh. Okay. She just looks like she's either... Yeah. Yeah, it can work. Let's see. Maybe... It's very finicky there to get anything that looks good. That's alright. Yeah, okay. Get the blue bubble. And I can move this a little down. This a little down too. There. Okay. So this is what, you know, the power of puppets, you know, really shows off. That's like, yeah, you can start with something pretty basic and then kind of keep iterating and going through it, and now it's like, okay, I don't have to draw anything to get this, you know. I made everything, you know, made all these different pieces individually, and so now I'm just kind of transforming them and using different substitutions that I've already made previously, and now it's like I can just go through and quickly make a pose and be like, okay, good, yep, okay, done, you know. It's the real power of this now. Of all these fancy puppets. Okay. Boop. Okay. Next. Let's see how we're doing. We're about on 2 hours. Okay. What do I want to do? I know my title said we're gonna do character sprites, but I also forgot that making the 6 of these characters might take a while. So maybe it'll just be like just this we'll try and finish each character, and then that might be it for tonight. So unfortunately might not be able to get as far as I wanted, but it kind of showed everything else, so I think that's hopefully worth it. Okay, so yeah, we'll just get through the next half of these guys and see where we go from there. So peepee, let's see. So okay, don't know where to put this. This is my master. All my master controllers are here. So as you saw, I can do all these different crazy things. I can turn off all the handles or turn off this box itself. Mouth, head, body, and wings. The wings are fun. They're on frame cycles, so they're the hand-drawn frame by frame. I can kind of change it to be whatever frame. I can stop it at whatever frame I want and then keyframe it at that point. Also get rid of them. It's also fun. I think I want this, but I think I want our body to be backwards. I wonder if I can do that. I can select the body and then flip it. So I want her butt to be more on her left side. Up, over, yeah. I want her body. Something like that. I told the music to shuffle, but apparently it just kind of chose an order and then said like, yep, that's the shuffle order. So when you play the playlist again, it's gonna do that in that same order, right? So, unless you want me to spend time trying to figure that out. Okay. This looks like the wings opened, so I think we can see what we can do. Oh, they're just kind of wide, so you can kind of see them. So, good thing is that we can just move the wings over and adjust it. There we go. Looks like she lost her white part of her leg. There we go. So yeah, half of this now, and it's this point now, is just making sure that all of my weird inconsistencies with the puppets are now, you know, being addressed. It's enough of like Izzy, like I had a bunch of, at least when we get to Sunny, her hair is also kind of broken. And that just means that at certain angles that her hair would kind of not be layered correctly because the interpolation from like one pose to another isn't exactly as smooth as you want. So it's either trying to super force it or just kind of live with it, and then every time you get to that pose you have to kind of fix it yourself. So it's kind of, yeah. Let's see. So I do have an ooh, but I don't think I got the shape that I want. Like an ooh. To get that shape. To get that kind of duck face. I don't think I can. I think I have to... You know what? I think I want to make it its own picture. I think I want to make... None of this is distorted. But I could make a new picture and just kind of put that there. And then be done with that. So what I can do is just kind of hide. Once we get there, I can hide that. How is this gonna work? So once you get to more complicated things, you have to more complicated poses. You have to make new new pieces. It actually happens a lot more than you think when making this, when making these animations. Is that, oh wait, I don't have what I need, so now I gotta go through and rig up a whole new picture. So, okay. So we'll use Pip's colors, Pip outline 2, and kind of go from here. Hopefully I can just draw this. Okay, cool. Here. Okay. How'd that get there? So I'm gonna ignore her mouth there and just kind of maybe connect this and get this shape. Okay. And then I can use a cutter to just take off the excess there. And then hopefully I can just take off this mouth. And there we go. You probably play with this as much as I want and tweet it around, but I think that's pretty good. I think I'll go towards... Yeah, let's go to like another half hour's worth. Thank you though. Because I want to finish the characters here. So there'll be Hitch, Sparky, and Sunny left. So we'll be okay. I think most of... Who is this? Pip is pretty much complete now. That was just the hard part of that one. And so we'll have closed eyes again. There you go. That's actually pretty good so far. Oh, over the pivot point. Do. There you go. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Okay, that's what I was missing. Okay. Cool. And then we'll have like her hand like kind of reaching out maybe and like holding the phone itself. I think I'll do that later on. I'll do that on my own. That'd be kind of tricky to... I have to like make a perspective arm, which would be its own object as well. So yeah, I think I'll pick my battles here and just kind of do the faces and general poses here. So there we go. So I want to definitely move on. Not connected again. I want to do Hitch and Sparky at the same time because they're going to be interconnected in such a way. So okay, here we go. Okay, okay. Problem is that I usually have the mouse controllers backwards from where I want it to be. So I can put Sparky's here, and then Hitch go on this side. Okay. So Hitch body could be front, or it could be this way. Yeah, it could be this way. And then he like turns around, I guess. Because like in the game, I think he's... Yeah, he's facing forward. Okay. Let's move Sparky. Just work on Hitch right now. Try to feel what I want. Okay. What I'm going for here. It's gonna probably be like leaning in. Maybe it's kind of get his neck. Kind of cover up my weird corner here with its belt thing. The belt thing also has its own deformer, which has the little badge, has a kinematic output, so it kind of stays in place as it kind of moves around. So I can definitely get a lot of quick, easy poses just doing that. Also works on the front and the outer side view as well, with the badge. So I can kind of move them even further out, and because I know that I can use this piece and then kind of move the neck outline cutter thing to the side, so I can move it actually further out than I probably could have earlier. So that's happy. That's not happy. Mouth. Let's do regular. Maybe a smile. No one else is smiling. Maybe you could be. Maybe get a one smiler. Maybe just be like a. don't know what about these mouths, but sometimes they look a little better if you do like this kind of kind of shape to it, like this line here where it kind of goes to the left and then back out to the right. Don't want to over extreme it, but it's like something about it feels good. Like, yeah, it's kind of like the lips are like kind of getting their own kind of shape, because once you know, just do a regular like, you know, U shape happy mouth, we're all kind of used to that, so it's kind of a little, seems more realistic, I guess, to kind of have it be more shaped. The fun part is that when he moves his head, the nostrils also kind of move around and kind of follow just his nostrils there, and they kind of move. What I want is probably to actually kind of move them back, because that's what I wanted to do was, so actually kind of getting that cutter body shape of the snout itself. So yeah, I think I might have a, yeah, I made this with my editor sprites, my editor poses, that I made this kind of cheeked up eyelid where it kind of gets the cheek and kind of goes up a little bit. Okay, so it's kind of grinning. Waiting for it to save. Do. If my project didn't have 6 characters, this would go a little faster. Let's move that out. Let's move the ear back. But not behind his back hair, which I can also move. Just a little bit there. You can kind of see it. These are not connected, but I have a, what do you know, another deformer. I can just kind of make so that these are now closed. How's that look? Beep. Okay, I see something. I see that the little belt doesn't go towards the, or off the outline here. So it should go a little bit past. There we go. Cool. Okay. Sparky. Okay. Just want to move this whole box over a little bit. Okay. So what I want is Hitch to kind of hold Sparky. So let's kind of choose a rotation that would fit. I think a front might actually work in this case. And then let's try. Let's try a up and to the left. And let's do a big smile. Oh, the fun part with him is that he's got a little tooth on the right side. So that's kind of fun to like have it kind of move, kind of morph around its position. So I have to like kind of keep track of it with every mouth pose that I made. This may look weird, and it is, but once it renders, it's usually okay. So it's kind of hard as you're like, you know, trying to quickly work on things, and it's like, oh, I gotta fix this. Like, I can't fix it, and it's like the way that my lip drawings are set up. They're set in different sub layers, and so there's like the outline and then like an inner side. So it's like the inside of the mouth with a mask. So it's like showing what's inside of the mouth instead of everything. If I turn the mask off, it'll probably just explode or something. Yeah. So there's inside of the mouth, top teeth, bottom tooth, and then tongue. They're all kind of hanging out. So this is the most magic and, you know, important part, is that this shape with the cutter combined means that it only shows inside of this shape, which is inside of the mouth. But for some reason with the deformers, when you kind of move them and shift them around, it doesn't render quite right. But it'll render out correctly, which is the weirdest part. I think getting a little bit of ooh. I don't know why. Ooh's maybe just like me, just kind of makes it look kind of nicer. And by that, it's like when you do like an oh or an ooh, or oh kind of shape, with your lips kind of, you know, pucker and kind of go into like a small little circle. So it's kind of like something like that, where it's not like a happy straight U, kind of like a hup. It's kind of like a oh, oh, you know, goes for a little ride. Let's take Sparky and have Hitch hold him. That was a little dull. It's gonna be a little stuffy. So I kind of over-engineered Sparky. I'm the only one to be able to say that. Kind of made him a little bit too complex. Or at least just added the OpenGL controllers handles came out about the time that I was working on Sparky's puppet. So I was like, oh, I can add a whole bunch of different little dots, and that means I can, you know, select things easier now. Wow, I can select the 2-point controller on his ear. Wow, his little Sparky thing. Wow, wow, wow. So I made like every single piece have that. So if I really want to, I can, you know, go in and adjust every single one of these. And it means that at least I can click on them much easier in the canvas view, the camera view, I guess, rather than trying to dig in here and find like, here's the button, go back and then move it, and then go back and then move it. It's like I can just stay more in this view. Eyebrows aren't quite set up, so I do have to have to go back in here. Everything else, all those other bits, hands are fun. They got 2-point controllers. I think it's only like 2 or 3 different pieces, with the hand be a different piece and the shoulder. But yeah, it's really fun. Wings, I also have them. I guess because he has limbs, I guess he got a little bit more complex. I think there's just about everything that the pony puppets have, but and then some, you know, just more, I guess. Let's get that wing to be behind him. Okay, it's a now. Yay. I like to kind of bend it a little bit over, and then it's an IK controller. All these legs are, all the pony puppets have like IK controller, which means that it's actually they're FK. My bad. So I want IK inverse kinematics, but what I got with all these puppets are forward kinematics, which is the more robotic-y. You have to kind of start from the shoulder and go downward. But I would like to be able to go from the hand and kind of move it so that like his elbow kind of moves instead. So I kind of rotate it this way. That might work better. And now I can kind of adjust some of these. I have a couple different versions here. Let's see if I have a better one of these. I think that's happy. I'll see if I have any cheeks. I have that kind of like an eating cheek. Let's see. There we go. I think his eyes could be larger always. Sometimes makes it more cute, but other times not. Okay, and the cheeks, believe it or not, also have deformers. I did find a YouTube video of a rigger that worked on a Two Boom puppet maker that worked on Pony Life, and they showed a bunch of their work, and I was able to kind of learn through it and go like, wow, this is how they built the Pony Life puppets. And I watched it and I was like, wow, you know, I already know, you know, how to do this, you know, at the time. So I was like, oh, that's how you do that. And most of their pieces, like each piece, most of their pieces, instead of like here where I have like deformer that's like has 2 points, so I can move it from this point, or I can move it from the shoulder. Most of their pieces, probably wouldn't do it on this arm, but they would kind of go around the contour. So we have like a point and a point here, point, 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 point. And so you'd be able to like mold the shape and like silhouette contour of it. That's something that I don't quite do with my puppets. I usually just, you know, do this and just kind of go boop, you know. I get the full contoured shape by doing this, but I guess with the changing the whole shape of it, you can mold much more of it better, but I just never really get into that super detail, or at least I would try and do a different technique to get that kind of the same feeling, but without actually going around every single point. Yeah, I think on some they would have like it be the entire shape, like 10 points might be on this one piece of hair, and so like you would have like 10 times as many points, but at the same time it's like I don't need that mostly for my stuff, so I just need to be able to do this more than be able to like change the curve of this to be backwards, you know. So there you go. Yay. Thank you, Cianiac. I want to move Sparky in a little bit. Maybe make him sort of kind of pull him closer. I want to move this in a little bit. Rotate it. I don't think it's like, if I try to like make those deformers, I would have to, like the contour ones, I would probably have to, I wouldn't have to like totally start over, but I would have to like go through each one again, each point, each section here, and rechange it. Or at least I would either need to like make a new deformer chain, that's what it's called, where deformer and then deformer chain of each piece, and then make a new version of it so that it would go have like a whole bunch of more points. But again, I could just kind of go in and go boop, you know, or you know, get these 2-point controllers. So it's just kind of how, depending on what you need to animate, or like what you need to get out of it, and then only rigging it as far as you need it to. And then if you need something else specific, then you would kind of go through there. But overrigging isn't bad, but obviously you can see how long it takes to save with this many characters. So that's what they call usually of having the characters be heavy. It's like, oh, that's a heavy rig. Like, well, geez, you know, it's gonna take forever to save and move and everything. It's just like how many pieces and how much complexity the character is. You think of like each piece having a certain weight, I guess. I'm extrapolating, but I would think that if every piece has its own weight, that if you had something, you know, with a lot, then it's gotta be more heavy. And so it's heavier on the computer to process, and it gets more and more complex to do anything really substantial with it anymore. That's like, oh, you almost have so much flexibility, but then it's like, oh, I feel like I shouldn't move too much. Yeah, so it's like, So you almost like you're not, you're almost deterred from actually moving too many things, because you know that might actually take too long to save or something. But something like this, I guess, where it's like, I wouldn't be able to make this outline mouth shape with like 1 or 2 points. I had to have 3. I could have 4, I could have 10, you know, but I feel like with the style that I want, I'm still able to, you know, get what I need out of it. And because I'm so used to vectors anyway, using the least amount of points, I usually just kind of go through that kind of philosophy anyway. Where usually I'm just kind of making sure that I have as few very, very powerful, you know, good placements for things, voltage deformers, but not really making it so complex that then, because enough with the mouth, if I had like 10 different points, I would have to, if I wanted to like have like a nice C curve where like it looks like a C, if I wanted to see, yep, okay, never mind. Okay, thought I'd go into something. I can use my, there we go, I don't know. Wanted to see, but if I had like a point here, 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 if I wanted to change it into a backward C, I would have to move 1 over to here, 1 over to here, and 1 over to here, and I might have to move this one over here, and this one over a little bit, so then I can move, so I can get the opposite curve. But the amount of points and the amount of time it would take to change that into the shape that I want will be like 3 times as long than if I had like point, and then I can use the Bezier curves of this point and then go whoop, and then it's done, you know. You would have more control and be able to make, you know, you can make this shape better, but also you can kind of do something like this the same way. So it's like, it's not as detailed, but you can still get, it's pretty good detailed around it, so it just depends on how you want to go about it. Let's see. Welcome. Hi, Bolt. Oh, just Bolt Play. Okay. Welcome. And brew on yourself. This year will be, I think I started as a, I watched a show like in late 2010, maybe early 2011. Then I started making videos in 2013. So this April will be my 10th year of content creating. I don't know why it took me so long. I just kind of wanted to watch the show, I guess. So yeah, we'll definitely have some sort of special stream in April. Do some sort of I don't know what exactly it'll be yet, but definitely something for 10 years for me. Oh boy, I think that's not everyone. Let's see. 10th year to Derpy, exactly. Boop. Oh, that's what I meant. Yeah, if you get the wrong color palette, then that'll happen. So I was using, oh, interesting. So I have this kind of, I don't know what it's called. I have this like alternate palette for these colors, and I guess if you kind of select the wrong one, then Toon Boom's like, oh, you want to use those colors IDs on this character that you didn't, you know, actually use. And it's like, oh, no thanks. So you gotta like click on a different palette of one of these, and then it works. So I don't know. I think if I actually have it here and then render it, yeah, it actually does affect. Based on which one you click here, it'll actually affect what colors are shown. So yeah. But anyway, those will be the last character today, and then we'll hit the road. Let's see. Hi Judd. Oh, again, hello. Did you start because you started with Pony, or was it a side project after you already started? I definitely, okay, so yeah, the origin is that I started with first real on flash animation in general I did was with the double rainbow puppets. So the double rainbow project was the, what was it? Must have been 2012 or 2013 animation, and they supposedly made their own set of characters, and then they posted those online as like a free thing. It was like, hey, you know, we made these, it'll be fun for the community to have them and everything. So I was like, oh, okay, sure. I was always interested in animation. You know, animation is always fun. Always like it. Always like watching the behind the scenes of how cartoons are made. And I was like, oh yeah. It was like that was like my first, like, wasn't noticed that I could download it. That was like a, whoa, I gotta do this. Like, whoa, okay, you know, I want to do this. Okay, like, how do I do this? I need to get Flash. Like, okay, what do I have to do? Okay, what's this next step? Okay, what's the symbol? Ah, geez, why are there so many weird characters? Why are they split up into different sections? Like, what is this? And it's like, whoa. So it was a huge crash course for me to like try to figure out what all of it was and what animation is. And ironically, the double rainbow puppets were not professionally interesting, you know, super high standard professional quality. So learning from them wasn't the best. Well, at least just from the basics to be like, okay, you know, you got each character in parts. There's little segments. There's little components. Flash does not have this, so you're pretty much locked to how this looks, and you're locked to how this looks, you know, with the timeline. So you just have to like move things around and hope for the best. It doesn't have deformers. It doesn't have, you know, any of this. So it was mostly just kind of just taking each piece, you know, at a time and being like, I have ear, and then I move it over here. That's all you could really do in Flash. Compared to how much, you know, super flexibility and craziness you can do in Toon Boom now. See if I can move this back. But definitely, yeah, it was, it's a starting point was, yeah, exactly, very, very important to have as some sort of easy-ish starting point. I remember it did taking a while to understand like how the puppets themselves were organized and set up, but still took me a couple years to, or more, depending on how you want to look at it. Or even now, you know, I'm still learning. I'm just learning a different way of doing this now. So, different way of animating, but all the principles of like take a piece, move it over, deform it, you know, do what it needs to do. But more just posing it like an action figure, where it's like, I want to move the elbow this way, and then you kind of do it, you know. Or I know that my anatomy, you know, means that the arm doesn't bend this way, and so you don't, you know. But yeah, most of this is 90% of what I'm doing here is Toon Boom specific because it's Toon Boom, but the other 10% are real, like all the general stuff. So there's a lot of extra stuff in Toon Boom, but I do know that most of it is general stuff. What I want is to move the... Let's see if I can move the whole eye. Yeah, okay. I can move the whole section here. But yeah, Flash was more symbol-based, which means that there'd be like components in little, what I call like buckets, or like little containers, where it's like you can kind of group a certain amount of drawings or symbols, or you can take a drawing, convert it into a symbol, and then that becomes the container, and then you move that container around. And so you're more just kind of grouping things or trying to componentize, or because you can't really link things, but you can only really group them into like a bunch of different collection of pieces. So the double rainbow puppets would have the entire head you know, as one symbol. So the symbol will be a group of a bunch of different pieces. So if you wanted to, you know, also move the eye, then you have to double click into the group slash symbol, and then you get the entire eye. But the eye might be its own group, and so you would have to move the entire, you know, eyeball itself, like the entire whole collection of eyeball. Then you double click inside that to get into the components of the eyeball. And so now the only universe I can work with is just these couple pieces. But, you know, now it's in the pupil and the highlight and the sclera. And so it's like, okay, well, now I gotta move all this around. But whoops, you're inside of a group, which means you cannot actually touch the other eye. You cannot touch anything else except the symbol inside that you're working with. So what if, for every scenario, you want to move two things, you know, simultaneously, but they're in different symbols? Whoops, you can't. So this is where it gets, like, really frustrating, you know, because, like, the double rainbow boats made sense to the sense that, like, oh yeah, you want the eyeballs to be in a group and symbol, and, you know, you don't want to, you know, have them all laid out and you have a huge timeline. So it's like, ah, geez, well, now what? So what you did was that you double clicked inside the eyeball to then be able to access to move these three pieces, sclera, pupil, and highlight, move it over, double click out. So now you're not selecting, you're inside of the headpiece, now you can move everything in. Then we go inside of the other eyeball, which has all of these eyebrow, cheek, sclera, eyelash. Double click inside that, and then you're able to move the pupil, and then move these three over, and then double click out, and then see what you get. So it became extremely, extremely tedious to be able to move two eyeballs at the same time, because you cannot move them both at the same time. Yeah. And so everything was designed that way, where you weren't able to freely just click on things and be like, oh, you know, I was just working on the leg, and I was like, you know, I was just working on the leg, and I wanted to move the eyeball or the ear, but that ear's a little bit off, but I was in the leg, so I wanted to click out and then move the, and then go inside of the head and then be able to click on the ear. And it's like, whoa. So I think if you're gonna make a Flash puppet now, you would hopefully try and use the more. Adobe is slowly adding Toon Boom features into Flash. And it took them way too long to add a depth 3D layer selector, where you can put things into 3D depth, which Toon Boom's had since almost the beginning. And I think they just added deformers into Flash, and guess what? They don't work as well as these. They have their own problems, and I've had a glitch where if you try to have, like, there's like parenting in Flash where you can, like, have a layer connect to another layer, and so the child would be able to be independent, but the parent would have to control the child. And had a glitch where I try to move, I think, a parent of something, and it would shake the screen so fast that it was hard to look at. And I was like, oh, that's odd. Well, let me try again. And it's just like, oh, come on. So spent all this time, you know, creating this and, like, spinning it up and, like, you know, get it to go. And it's like, well, look, this works better because now I could have all of the face pieces be, you know, on one symbol, basically, instead of splitting it up into different symbols, which is weird to say. Instead of having a giant collection of different symbols, it became just head, and then you can move anything inside of the head, which was amazing. But you wouldn't be able to do that earlier. I guess you could. Yeah, so it was always possible, but no one really did it. Let's see. eyelash. Yeah, it was always possible. No one really wanted to actually rig that way because it was apparently easier to componentize everything in that sort of way. So, and try to get like head rotations were really hard because it'd be a completely different set of symbols. So, kind of like how I have the body, you know, these are not exactly the same drawings, but I'm able to kind of set it up so that it kind of looks like it's rotating, but they're all completely different set of, it's the same like tail object, but I'm just changing the position and sometimes it's drawing. So it kind of gets into that kind of territory where that's kind of how you do it. It's like, okay. I think I want to squat her down and then try to stretch her out. So I get this kind of like looking up, kind of like kind of squished in head. Let's see. Like, there we go. Oh, there we go. Thank you. The animating turns into imaginative sim. Yes. When we get a whole tutorial, I did make a Yoshi Greenwater tutorials channel, but I talked about how that didn't really work out as much as I would have liked. I think I wanted to do like a Draw with Jazza, you know, kind of like drawing animation channel where I kind of go over all this, but I think it kind of, I wasn't able to present at that time well enough. Like where talking to camera and everything wasn't up to par yet. Still quite isn't where I want it to be, but it's definitely, I'm able to converse with you guys a little okay, right? That is an arm. Okay. I believe some of these are not where I want them to be. Is he? Up. Hey, I think we crashed. Alright. Well, here's my Photoshop file. While we're here, let's check this out. So let's see. So that was really handy. Okay, I wanted to show this off anyway. Here we are. So made all these from scratch. Well, I made this background from scratch, but I had some yeah, these ones I had some references from different official sources, I think, in the show. So this was kind of close, but I still kind of made my own design of what I wanted it to look like. It's kind of hard to see, but it's a little different. Oh, these took a very long time. But these other ones that are in Maritime Bay, I had that 3D model. It's hard to get everything in one swoop. Was it this one? Yeah, this was the 3D rendering, which was from the Maritime Bay Adventure game. I took a screenshot. Let's see. So, in Maritime Bay, someone ripped all the models from the game, posted the model online. I used Blender to then open the model, took a camera, and then arrange the angle that we want. Took a screenshot, and then trying to trace it a little bit, and then added the hundreds of unnamed layers. Yes. You get to a point where it's like, okay, well, 57 is, you know, underneath 55, and then 56 and 59. And it's like, eh. I guess I'm more concerned with like animation because I know that I'm gonna, you know, be moving it along, and I need to know where everything is. I feel like with just art, as long as I can find, you know, what I need, then it's like, okay, you know, I'll be fine. I'm building it just for like this asset, you know. I'm not gonna, you know, spend my next, you know, 5 years with this and use only this version of it as I continue and not upgrade it or, you know, update it or anything. So I feel okay with just making this and not naming every single layer, because they get to the point where it's like, oh, it's palm tree, but it's also only the leaves, but maybe the palm tree underleaf leaves, and it's like, and it starts to overwork that and spend too much time actually trying to figure that out. But I definitely, with the animation and puppets and stuff, I would definitely be very, very mindful with that. So I guess it's just these I got a little lazy. So, yeah. So all these are very broken up where you get different little pieces here and there. I made these over like only like a couple days. I feel like each one I got a little better, at least more accustomed to what I was doing. So I'm glad that I made the more custom-ish one last. Let's see. Oh yeah, there's tons of little weird layers in here. So we got the references, far background. I need some of these. I got the foreground. Yeah. Then some sketch. I have like hundreds of sketches I probably deleted over time. Oh, I wanted to make sure that the text box like fit. If I, what did I do? So that, yeah, made sure that it zips in the middle or any kind of character that the text box kind of doesn't cover up too much or isn't too obtrusive. So just wanted to use that as a guideline to see where everything was. So I think it worked out pretty well. I know that Cookie, at least, wherever he is, told me that to saturate the layers or try and get some better contrast or something. But again, I just kind of, I did eyedrop a lot of the colors that were directly from the 3D model. So if the 3D model then wasn't super saturated, then that'll be why. But I could definitely, you know, just regular do some color correcting. You know, just kind of get some even saturation or just kind of, whoop, now it's saturated. You know, is that better? I don't know. Can desaturate it or go a little too far, you know. I guess I could just punch it up, you know, like 20% or something. Play with the hue. Give him a little disco. Woo. Turn it back to 0. So is that a little better? It definitely punches up the smoothie cart. Yeah. Oh yeah, it is funny. How do I see it again? Okay. Not used to Photoshop. How do I see just the properties of it? Yeah, it is 20%. I guess I can I copy this layer and paste it. Trying to select that little arrow onto here. Whoa, that's cool. It does kind of, it's just subtle enough that's like makes it, the green's actually green, but not enough that it's like, oh wow, it's more overpowering than the characters. You know, if I add the characters in, it's not night and day, but it's like, it's definitely like a little bit. I think I'll add this in. So I'll have to go through, re-export everything, but I think it's kind of fine. Okay, I can copy that. Did that. Let's see what this one looks like. Yeah. I'm gonna line this up a little bit. I think that was a good suggestion. Thank you, Cookie. I like it. Beep. I think with this one, it makes it almost radioactive with these greens. Let's think I want to actually turn this down. I want to turn this one maybe like 15. Yeah, that's probably better. Some of these probably don't need super amount. Let me just add it just a bit. Probably want to just make the green its own thing. Can you do that? I have a degree in Photoshop and Illustrator. That just means that I just followed the course. I didn't really know everything about it. And then the alley. I don't think it's super. Yeah. Definitely blue. I think I want to make this one like a little bit less as well. Can I unsee it? Yeah. Yeah, I went to like a 2-year degree in college. It took me 3 years. And I have a multimedia design degree in Photoshop and Illustrator. I think I want to punch this one down a little. I think this one, it's a bit too much. It'll still be there, but just not enough that it actually radiofies it or something. I know there's a whole like color theory thing that I know, you know, complementary and tertiary and all of that of what looks good, but I never really, I've never really done much illustrating or really making anything too unique to really have to really think about like, ooh, this purple and this blue needs to be this shade of blue to be able to work better with this palette or have a limited or, you know, good stuff like that. So definitely need to think about that more. Bye, Zip. It's almost too much again. I think it's just the greens that are just kind of throw me off. It's like a little bit too much. Just make it more subtle. There we go. Yay. All right. Clear. Tell me not to treat sponsorship as possible. I know, because once you like color pick from a reference, you're only really selecting one pixel of it, and that doesn't represent the whole tone of it, or like how you might be picking it from half a shadow, and then you use that as a broad stroke, and it's like, oh, why does it look weird? It's like, well, side tangent with like 3D modeling is that when you want, I wanted my Derpy movie renders to look like, obviously want to look like they're part of the rest of the movie, so that in the first couple episodes there was like 2D backgrounds, and I tried to really make sure that the rendering engine didn't have any shadows or highlights or actual real world rendering of like all that kind of stuff. Like with Blender, it still wanted to do some of that, where it wanted to add some sort of shade or lights, and so I was like, no, please turn lights off or just be full bright. And so I had to like devise this whole like node system and the lighting world attributes to be able to use an HDRI that was full white, and then use that, and then a certain amount of other minimax to like try and set that up so that there's no, everything's lit evenly at 100%, and so that there's no tones or shadows or highlights or anything, so that when you go from like a 2D background to a 3D environment, and that render is 100% color accurate from every angle, and you don't have to worry about everything from there. So glad I figured that out early before chapter 3 or anything. Otherwise, you'd be able to really tell. It wasn't super bad, but it was like some of the colors weren't accurate to one another. So, or what I wanted to do was trying to set it up like real world lighting, and try to have like spotlights here and a sun here, and trying to set it up so it's like, okay, well, maybe you need to real world light this so this light is looking at this angle, which means that you have this opposite light that's like shining from below. So it's like when you have like a desk that has an overshoot, you want to have light underneath the desk, but not enough that it creates a hot spot. It's like, ah. So I try to do it that way, but it's like, oh, that's not gonna work. Oh boy. Let's go to Twitch time. I'll talk more. Do. Oh boy. Do. Oh, hi, Green Day. Green Day and Night. There we go. I love you guys. Yes. Yeah, we actually DM'd earlier this afternoon. That was really nice. That was fun. I really appreciate it. Thanks for sharing. I'll have to share my GameCube Animal Crossing once I get that up and going. Let's see. Gotta learn Illustrator. Yeah. Illustrator is fun. I guess because I was so used to Flash, that's like going to Illustrator, I was like, why is the curve not working the same? You know. So yeah, that was more of a like unlearn experience for me. I was like, okay, so the curves are gonna work like this, and text works like this in Illustrator. It might be both under the Adobe umbrella, but that doesn't mean that they're actually developed by the same company, basically. Let's see. Let me get some juice here, and we'll talk maybe up to the hour or so. So I think I forgot my cup button. My water cup button isn't working anymore on my VTube. I think I just disabled it or something. Okay then. See you, Dakota and Green Night. See you soon. Thank you. I'll keep going for like a couple minutes because I want to talk about the survey. So back in the beginning of January, because of all of the changes that I wanted to implement with the streams, I was going on for a little bit longer, and wanted to implement gaming. Wanted to make sure that everyone was, you know, generally on board with it before I make this into like a half gaming stream channel. So I made the survey. I guess we can kind of go over that a little bit. Let's see. So I got 12 responses. Let's restart that. Does this work? I think there's some blues, which means it might explode. Okay. This is the worst way to show this. Maybe we should just go back to regular stream. I can do that. Okay. So probably wanna. I think we're okay. I'm probably gonna stop accepting. There we go. So if you have any more, I've already decided like on a couple months worth of streams what we're gonna do for activities. So I don't think this is gonna sway me anymore. It is interesting. I did learn a lot from you guys. Most of it is out of following was one important factor was me or my personality, then stream content, then ponies. I didn't expect that. I thought it'd be the other way, honestly. I thought it'd be like, oh, ponies is what you're here for. Because usually the thumbnail is just like the last couple seconds as a screenshot. So I thought you'd see a pony and be like, okay, I'll join. Hi, Wesley. Welcome. Already had a good time for you? This was obviously the most split from all you guys. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. That's better. Can you watch it? You can watch the entire broadcast from most of you. Partially, only the start. A little bit less. About even between only end and I cannot attend. So, from reading this, I decided to make the streams longer to accommodate for, you know, the two people who said like I can't. But the next thing is that should I consider longer streams or more days per week? And so thank you for saying perfect as is. That's nice. So it's like, how do I figure that out? Manga streams once a week or streams more often per week. So I guess I was doing something okay. Michael, didn't know you streamed. Thank you. Well, this is my first stream in a month. So if you didn't know, yeah. That makes sense. My last stream was in December where I took a whole live streaming, what's it, from alcohol, what's it called, abstinence from streaming. Let's see, I messed up on the wording of this. I wanted to say, how often would you like to see gaming featured per month, and then I said several times per week. I think I wanted several times per month, so to keep it the same. So I noticed it's like a couple days later, and I was like, oh man, I didn't want to change because some of you guys would have, you know, I answered it as honestly but this way. So I was like, oh well. So what I meant was, would you like gaming content several times per month, or several times or more, or fewer, or never? Thanks for never not doing that. So I guess with this phrasing, twice or fewer a week. But if I only do it once a week, then that doesn't work then. So that's why I wanted it to be per month. So twice or fewer a week is something that I am going to work on. If we get into those back halves, I probably will be doing longer stretches of streams, of gaming streams. Sort of back halves, we'll go into that later, but yeah, just trying to balance between like how much, yeah, the balance of whether or not you want art or gaming, or, you know, how many times. So yeah, would not should be, because I was also considering whether or not would gaming just be better off on just Twitch and then have regular art and animation stuff on YouTube. So there were a couple people who wanted it on Twitch, but obviously the majority would then be on YouTube. So that kind of worked out. So once we get into gaming stuff, which will be in the next couple weeks or so, we'll look into that. Should an individual stream feature an animation project and then transition into a game partway through an individual stream? So art only or art and then gaming? Which you guys seem to be interested in, of art and then gaming, or just art only. So today was only art only, and that seemed to keep your interest hopefully a little bit, so that's good. But I'll look into maybe doing, if there's something like a short doodle, or, you know, a stream where I only draw like maybe a couple characters, or, you know, who knows what, like a Bob Ross. You know, if I do a Bob Ross and try to do it with time with him or something, and, you know, that only takes like a half hour, you know, content that only would take a certain amount of time, that'd be less than a stream's worth, then I'll consider to do a quick play game or something. But otherwise, I'm probably going to keep these separate. So it'll be art stream, and then another stream will be gaming. So that's what I'm leaning more towards. Let's see, in back half, play games I haven't completed. So the stream will start part way into a game and continue until I reach the credits, or, you know, whatever is the end game, I guess. So likely to take a fair amount of streams to finish a game, because I'm slow and bad at games, and usually these back half games would be ones that I, you know, dropped for one reason or another. So, but thank you for saying it's a good idea. I was so scared that you guys would be like, oh, I don't want to see you start on level 4 of a game and then try to, you know, hit a boss and be like, I don't know what to do for the next 3 hours of a stream. And I think that's it. So, I noticed there was a comment on Discord from someone who said, like, oh, doing this survey is a bad idea, and it's gonna be a failure if, you know, you ask of people it'll be something like, oh, it's not my ideas, or, you know, I'll just be following how these are set up, or what the majority is. And I try to explain it, it's like, it's not really, you know, this won't be, you know, whatever wins isn't going to be law towards me. Most of these, I am gonna, you know, I'm looking to, you know, obviously these are what you guys are, what your thoughts are, and what your interests are. So, I'm gonna likely go with the crowd unless, you know, it's something personally that's like I might not have a better idea, but be more of a better fit for how I'll do things. So, in summary, let's do that real quick. In summary, I will do one stream a week on Saturdays. Is that the same? Yep. Stream each Saturday starting at 12 p.m. EST. Let's try that again. 12 p.m. PST/3 p.m. EST. There we go. I can read. So that's still correct. And then we'll just go on for maybe a little bit longer. So I'm just testing to see going on for slightly longer it's gonna work. Obviously, it's my first time back, so I gotta spend some time catching up. I've been doing good. I've been busy with work and busy with the game, so it's not like I really went anywhere. Obviously, I've still been busy on everything, still been active with all my socials and anything else. So I've just been here. I've just been not streaming, basically. Turn it off so I can reset everything and figure out what you guys want, and try to make some compromises. That was like the biggest thing, you know, to defend myself a little bit with that guy on Discord. To say like, yeah, just gotta make some compromises with what you guys are interested in with the majority, but also it's like, well, is this also actually gotta work for me? If it's not, then I'll, you know, I still have the power to say no. So yes, streams every Saturday, and what else to say? Yeah, we'll do more likely than not like themed streams where it'll be art animation for the full stream, unless it's a short content stream, and then we'll go to gaming, and then we'll have later on streams where there'll be gaming, and then those will go on for a certain amount of time as well, and then that'll be the whole stream, is what my idea is. So that's what I'm planning around anyway. I have a lot of surprises. I have a lot of guests. I have a guest planned to have featured on here. I know you're all trying to figure out who it is. I know I didn't talk to anyone, so that might narrow it down. But yeah, we'll see them in hopefully this month, but definitely like later this month. So plan is next week. I'll keep working on the game, and then hopefully by next week I'll have everything complete, and so I'll have a demo, hopefully for everyone to play, and then might have to figure out where I am at that point to figure out whether or not another stream of working would be better, like polishing more, or maybe doing a quick game or something, if that happens. Later on I have smaller games, and then the game with a guest that might go on for like a couple months, and then yeah, we'll go from there. So hope you guys stick around. I'm excited, so I hope you guys are too. And yeah, it's a good guess. That's can't say no to that. I want to keep it a mystery. I'll leave it up. Leave it up in the air. So yeah. Anyway, thank you guys again. Hope to have more fun with you guys in the future. And this year is I'm excited for this year. At least for all these streams. So we gotta have that break so I can like really refresh and like really, because I was getting into like a real like grind into like, okay, I gotta work on like so many long projects that's like, okay, it's not really fun anymore. That with some of these longer animations, it's like, okay, let me work on this on stream for like 2 hours and then spend the entire week trying to work on it and then do another stream, you know, that Saturday and be like, okay, ugh, this is what I got. Okay, let's continue. So I was getting kind of tired. So new plan is to make smaller form content. So more likely to be illustrative in nature than full-on animation. So this kind of visual novel is kind of like a nice middle ground, where it's like a lot of different aspects, but it's still manageable. I made it like twice as long than the original scope, but yeah. More content for you, but more content for me to produce. So oh well. So hopefully the ETA for the game is finished game. It's hopefully going to be around the 19th of February. I hope I can get that date. Maybe. I mean, I want it to be done by February, so we're going to need a little bit more time. I guess it's sort of a delay, but I didn't really super announce it anyway, so yeah. So at least with this one, I feel fairly confident. So I'll have like 4 more ending CGs, getting hitch and sparkies, older sprites, clean up the music, add some sound effects, get Luna, her sprites, and clean up the cutscene, add some polish, and then we'll be okay. That's all I gotta do, you know. So, okay, let's get that back. Thank you, and good to see all you guys again. So yeah, thank you again. So yeah, see you next week, and we'll see what we got. Let's see, you can see what I got cooking for you. Thank you again. All right, see you later. See you soon. Thank you guys. Bye bye.